Have you chosen what you thought about what you want to get?
I'm going to go for ancient grains, the healthy option. How about you?
Chicken schnitzel, I think, definitely.
It's probably safer to eat a chicken schnitzel on camera.
Exactly. What? Kind of your view, we're spending a couple of days together, and it's really great to be able to look at planning for Engaged Care Talent for the next 12 months. But why, from your perspective, why even bother do this? What is it that's saying I'm going to take 2 days out to do this? What is it that kind of drives you to do it?
I think there's a few things. One of them is it's something I want to do. So, my own kind of 10-year plan, if you like. I've done a lot of reflecting and thinking about what it is I want to do, who I want to be, and this really does support it. I want to do work that I choose to do, not that I have to do, and I do choose to do this. I think that that's one part of it. The other thing is, in terms of kind of legacy, if you like, maybe the wrong word, is the opportunity to properly inspire change. I think that creating a platform like this and creating content that's hopefully going to be shared and reshared and attract a bigger audience creates the opportunity to make that change. And I would love at the end of my 10, 20 years or whatever it is to turn around and go, actually, there was a few things that enabled me to make that change, and Engaged Care Talent being one of them, because you don't see anybody doing it. There's not many forums where people are tackling the talent crisis specifically in a niche in healthcare. And the fact is that we're all going to end up in a system. Our family members are all going to end up in a system. Everybody's got some sort of healthcare issue in their family, in their friends, without a doubt. And I think it deserves more attention.
I think, particularly think about where we're at the moment, and, in terms of politics as well. We've got first Labour government for 14 plus years.
Yep.
And naturally, given the heritage of Labour and the NHS, for example, I think it's the right time to do this as well, because I'm really interested, like Keir Starmer's decade of national renewal.
Yep.
And going, yes, there's going to be some tough times ahead. The budget that's happened is going to be the worst that there's been.
Yep.
And once that's done, which is done, yes, there's going to be investment in the NHS. There's the 10-year plan that's coming in the spring.
Yeah.
And I think that means actually there's an opportunity to. I wouldn't be so fanciful as to say that it's going to totally change the NHS, but there is an element of rebooting.
Yeah.
So I think there are lines in the sand or timelines where you go, actually, now let's look at this.
Yeah.
Let's see how we can kind of go back to maybe some of the roots of organisations like the NHS, but also find new ways of making sure that we are reaching out to organisations, reaching out to talent that is absolutely in this country.
Yeah.
The talent exists. It's just a case of making sure that we're bringing them in, but also helping people understand how to retain them as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think the other thing is that with all these changes, rather than us kind of hearing about them, on news channels or seeing statistics or being fed information, is that we're going to have real conversations with organisations, with people, hopefully at all different levels, chief execs, HR directors, learning development, talent acquisition, and God knows who else, but find out what those changes, the impact that it's really having. And I think that's going to be really interesting. And what I hope is that, the kind of conversations that we have with maybe larger organisations that are doing things really well, is that's going to benefit the smaller ones who might not have the budgets or the resource to use to outsource things or to do things in a different way. And hopefully, we're going to be able to kind of spread that the wealth of that knowledge to other organisations, and not just in healthcare as well. Hopefully this will look at other essential services where they've got similar challenges, but because we've got a niche and because we've got the experience in health and social care, I think it's going to be really important.
Definitely. But look, although first things first, let's get this schnitzel,
let's get some food
and get your version as well.
How's your food?
It's good. Oh, this chicken is gorgeous. So,
Yeah.
well, Zilia's Italian, yeah. So she's got schnitzel is a cotoletta in Italy. Although my daughter, she always slams me when I try anything Italian. She says my accent's terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But in Italy, that would be like half as thin, half as thick.
Yeah.
Because they basically just beat the hell out of it until it's like as thin as possible. But yeah, how's your food?
So my other half's a vegan, so yeah, this is the vegan option, and it's lovely.
Delicious, man.
It is lovely. So all good. So Chris, why do you think that engaged care talent is different to what's out there at the moment? What do you think makes us unique?
And I think when you look at, well, actually, one thing is, are they doing the kind of stuff that we're doing? Are they not just doing the remote recorded podcast episodes, but are they getting into studios, bringing people together to actually talk about some of the big challenges that we're facing in health and social care?
Yeah.
But also what solutions they're giving. So I think there's a difference there because, and we're doing this documentary as well because we truly believe that we can do something to change the market.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing for me is about community. Actually, we are actually looking at building a community here of people who want to help each other. There's that thing where you actually, I've said it before, but when we do episodes where guests bump into each other in the green room, just seeing them talk to each other is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's a big difference there, is actually making this more than just a podcast that was recorded on Zoom.
Yeah.
and that's it. Is actually going, let's build a community that can help each other. And actually we have a role to play in changing health and social care. Why not?
No, absolutely. I think that there are other like resourcing networks that are popular without naming them, and they do work well. There's nothing that is niche for health and social care. And the other thing is we've got the opportunity to bring in other job levels, because it's not about heads of resourcing specifically. This is about engaging talent in health and social care, full stop. So anybody who's involved in that, anybody who's got a story to talk about or conversation to be had in that is relevant.
It's true.
And I think as long as the audience can learn from it, then it's going to be worthy of airing. And I like the fact that we haven't got a strict schedule. So we've done online episodes. We've done an episode when I was in hospital. We've done episodes in a studio in London. We've done them in the Faber Studios in Knutsford. In fact, we're doing one right now from the King Street Kitchen in Knutsford.
Great food.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few things for me, and I'm not saying it's going to happen next year. I'd love to know regional differences.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite easy to generalise the state of the market for the whole of the UK, but we know that rural northeast is different to London. So I'd love to kind of. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Is that Diet Coke? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to be able to kind of zone into different regions, but also get stuck into different job families as well. I'd also love to see if we can get on different job levels. So if we could get a chief exec's perspective. So as far as talent is concerned, what is it that keeps a chief exec awake? How's that different to a HRD? And how does that then relate to the the heads of resource and even the recruiters doing the job? Does it all match up? Is there a golden thread? Because I would bet that probably at least 5 out of 10 there isn't one.
Actually, I think the senior leaders piece is really important actually, because there is that, and God, you'll know this from the roles you've had before, is this thing about trying to build that business case.
Yeah.
And how to sell things in. I think the way you would get buy-in from the businesses you worked for before is like fantastic. So that I think is like a superpower that people need.
Yeah.
And so actually the kind of advice and tools that we can give them to then get that buy-in, to get the investment they truly believe that the business deserves is fantastic. And actually ultimately isn't every single human being in a company contributes to the bottom line of the business.
Absolutely.
So it's what you could argue is even more important than B2B or B2C marketing.
100%.
Because if you don't have the people on board, you don't have everything else.
That's it. And the power of good reputation as well.
Exactly.
It's huge.
Well, and there's that spin-off in terms of, you know, investors. When I say investors, the public looking at something, you know, from a public sector perspective, or even investors looking at, you know, investing in a company.
Yeah.
You know, to see what those companies are doing and being impressed is a way of also generating revenue.
Yeah.
So actually, if people who commission projects to attract and retain talent can show that to the business leaders, the better.
Exactly.
And they'll, you know, it will become like one of the most crucial areas of all businesses that it is. Gallup talks about $8 trillion in lost productivity because too many people are disengaged at work.
Yeah.
That's like, if that's not about business, I don't know what is.
Well, there's a series on that alone, isn't there? So,
Exactly. Oh, that was good food, that was.
It was, and I got my drink. You didn't get
I
yours.
didn't get mine. It's all right, it's coming.
Yeah.
Check, please.